Everybody, good evening. It is the Cryptid Huntress. I'm Jessica Jones, and I just got in from cryptid hunting today with my team. Oh my gosh, it has been such a wild weekend. I hope you guys are having a fantastic weekend. And yeah, I feel like I just slid into home plate again. That seems to happen with a lot of my shows now. I am so, gosh, y'all, I'm so busy and I'm having the time of my life. I really am. It's really great. We actually spent the day today remembering our very good friend and family member, teammate, the head of the North Georgia Cryptid Researchers, Bob Grumpy Wilson today. And I want to give a shout out to everybody who was there for that memorial and some people who are still there at the moment. I came home to be with you guys tonight. It was raining. It started raining, and it was a beautiful, beautiful time. And yeah, Grumpy wanted us all get together in one of our research areas to remember him for his memorial. So that's what we did today, and it was wonderful getting to see everybody and to meet his family. And so shout out to everybody in memory of Grumpy tonight. Okay, this show is dedicated to my friend Grumpy. All right. As many of my shows, if you guys would like to see some of what Grumpy has done and an interview with him, go to my playlist. I'll put it down in the description box of this show. But I did interview him at the Meadow, where we do a lot of our team's research, the South Skinwalker Ranch. Okay. So I do have a video where we're on site, where I do interview him there a couple of years ago. Maybe it was like 2 years ago, I think. So yeah, High Strangeness followed that man around everywhere he went, as it does me as well. Okay, well, y'all, tonight, speaking of High Strangeness, we're going to be talking about an entire area. Hey, Daryl, I see you in there. We're going to be talking about an entire area of Texas that is known for werewolf and dogman sightings. It has become known as the Texas Dogman Triangle. Now, y'all know I love Dogman. Okay, I love Dogman. And speaking of which, Bob left us some of his things, and I was lucky enough to get his North American Dogman Field Investigators Manuals. Okay, so I'm going to take good care of those for Bob. And yeah, I can't wait to look at it. I think it's okay that I have those. I think it's okay. We'll find out. But anyways, I have some of some of his literature and stuff in regards to cryptids. So such a treat, man. I just love that man to death. But we're going to be talking about the Texas Dogman Triangle tonight with Rod Nichols of Baird County, Bigfoot. He lives right in the middle of this Dogman Triangle. Okay, so let's, if you guys would like to follow along with all of my shows, I have a website. Just go to that website. You can find all of the events I'm going to be at. All of my shows are posted there. I try to keep it up to date as we go. Okay. And also I have a Patreon. If you guys would like to support my work, that's the Cryptid Huntress on Patreon. And I have a shop that's called War Woman Goods, and that's on Etsy. You get free merch with purchase. As I always say, I throw in a little bit of Cryptid Huntress merch with every package. Okay. So without further ado, shall we get started, y'all? Thanks for, I see that I love everybody's here tonight. Thank y'all so much for being here. To all of my mods, to all of my channel members, and to all my friends and family. Okay, so tonight we're going on the hunt with Rod Nichols, and we're going to be discussing the Texas Dogman Triangle and the werewolves and dogmen of Texas. Rod Nichols is from Baird County Bigfoot Research Project. Rod has been researching Bigfoot in and around San Antonio, Texas for some time and has come across quite a bit of possible Bigfoot evidence. In addition to the Bigfoot findings, he may have also stumbled upon a dogman trackway. Rod's pictures of these tracks can be found in the book and documentary, The Texas Dogman Triangle. And you can follow his research through his Instagram page, Bear County Bigfoot. That's Bear with a Bexar. And hey, Susan, I see you in here. We made it home safe, by the way. Okay. Please help me welcome to the show tonight, my buddy, Rod Nichols.
Hey,
Hey, Rod.
awesome! It's
Hey.
it's it's so good to be back on the podcast with you, and I'm very blessed to just be here, just shooting the breeze with you about some cryptids and some cool stuff.
Oh, yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, okay. I was actually out doing some cryptid hunting this weekend for the past couple of days, and
Yeah.
like I said, I just got home. God, it felt good to take a shower when I got home today from being out in the woods. You get a little sweaty and humid, and
Yeah. Yeah.
it feels good to shower. Let's just say, right?
Georgia's a little humid,
Yeah.
just a little bit.
Oh my God, like way humid. It was actually very nice out there today, but
Yeah.
it was a little bit humid. The weather wasn't too hot, but it started dumping rain, and it was right when I finally got my keys out of my vehicle today. I
Oh.
had the whole team out there pulling my windows apart and
Oh my goodness.
sticking metal things down inside my car.
Oh.
We got it open. So
It's funny when you lock your keys in your car, like everybody's got a methodology of how to do it. And everybody
yes.
wants to tell you like you got to do this. No, you got to do it this way. No, you got to, and it's like okay, it's just
Oh
it's
man,
just
yeah, we had like metal rods. We had duct tape. We got A Rod, our buddy A
yeah.
Rod. He had his toolbox out. We were duct taping stuff together, and it was hilarious. And you know what? You know what ended up working?
What
But
was
my
that?
buddy Keith actually got like a copper tube, and he put string down it, and he stuck it through the window, and then he looped it around the thing that pulls up to lock the
Yeah,
door,
yeah.
and jerked it and like did it real carefully, and then tight and pulled it, and that's what finally opened my door.
Wow.
It was
Well,
MacGyver. Yeah,
that guy has got something. He needs to patent that invention or something. You
it
know.
was so great. It was like we won the Super Bowl or something when he finally got it.
Oh
So
yeah. Oh yeah.
yeah.
You've won a prize of some sort, like your car back and your whole life and all that stuff. So.
Oh my gosh, I was so happy. So yeah, so duct tape for the win, copper rod for the win, and string. Okay, and but yeah, everybody put in equal hard work to that today. So, but yeah,
Yeah.
ultimately we were there to go celebrate the life of the head of my research team, and we had a very beautiful day today. So
Oh,
it was a
that's
great.
amazing. Well, I wanted to say rest in peace, Grumpy. God rest his
Oh
soul,
yeah.
man. And he sounded like just a vital piece of your team and family. It sounds like he was just a family member and a very important person to you. So, God
Oh yeah.
bless him.
He was very, very important person, and very important in the research field. Okay, and I think it's so important that we recognize all of the boots on the ground field research that's going on
Yeah.
out there, because this is very dangerous. Like we had to have a real talk today with the whole
Mm.
team. Um, Unfortunately, two of the people who, I mean, everybody's a main player on our team, everybody,
Sure.
but Tim and Grumpy, those are the two guys that walked into a portal, and we have it on video.
Wow.
They've both passed
Wow.
away since then,
Oh my
and
goodness.
and so
Yeah.
we have to kind of factor that in. Like we had to have a real talk today. Like,
Really.
are we going to continue this research in this
Sure.
area because of that? Yeah.
Right. And that's
So,
that's a real conversation you have to have, especially when you've had core members like that,
yeah.
that are willing to really and truly, I think, sacrifice themselves for the research and for I think to me in my mind the greater good, and
Yeah.
whatever transpires from going in and out or whatever happens or physically or we don't know, and that's a real conversation to be had. So that's good that you guys did that. I mean, really is.
Not a single person said no. They want to quit. We're like, we're just gonna now. This ground is sacred. We're
Yeah,
staying. We ain't going nowhere.
keep it
Okay.
going. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. And
So
I think I would say, and I don't know this person, but I would say that would probably be something he'd want you guys to do. So you know um
yes.
because that's what I would want from my people if that was me. So
Oh yeah, oh yeah. We're gonna keep the research going, and you've got a lot of research going on over in Texas. You know, we're over
Yeah.
here in the southeast, and you're in the south, but just kind of in the middle of the country with a lot of cryptid activity. And it's not just
Yes.
okay. Your focus with the title of your research is Bear County Bigfoot, but
Sure.
just like me, I'm a Bigfoot field researcher, but we run into a lot of stuff out there.
Yeah.
So what's going on with the Dogman stuff? You've come across some Dogman tracks.
Yeah, so going back to gosh, I want to say over a year, almost coming up on 2 years, almost. I think year and a half, I'll say. Um, you know, I made friends with Aaron Dees from Hey Strangeness, and now he's the full time content guy for Small Town Monsters, and rightfully so. He's a brilliant guy. He's amazing, very smart, and just a great guy to be around. And we kind of connected, and he had talked about writing this book, the Texas Dogman Triangle, Werewolves in Texas, and I thought it was great. I was supportive, and I was like, man, this is awesome. And at that time, you have to. I think for me, I didn't think like a lot of other cryptid researchers. I would dare maybe say cryptozoologists. Dogman is, even though it had been seen years and years and years, there's folklore of it. It wasn't really on the plate for us. It really wasn't. It wasn't something that was like, hey, I'm going to go out and research Dogman. That wasn't something that was out there, or even in our vocabulary, right? So I have to say, for me myself, Aaron was somebody that brought that to the forefront and brought it up, to me, and said, hey, like, this is what I'm doing, and everything that entails that. So I thought, okay, great. But it really hit home when my youngest daughter, we went out to a park, a wilderness park that I happen to have found, several wood structures, and, what I believe is trace evidence of some cryptid, whether if it's Sasquatch or Dogman or whatever, I didn't know. But, that's kind of my specialty, are the wood structures, so uh, we went out there, and I told myself, hey Rod, it's my wife and my youngest daughter. Let's turn off the researcher brain, and let's just kind of try to relax and have fun, and enjoy your family. Well, I found out that I can't do that, and my youngest ended up finding a trackway, and it would appear that this trackway was Sasquatch related. It was linear in
Mhm.
fashion, and it's funny. I even told myself I'm leaving my phone in the car and blah blah blah, and when she found that, I didn't. I didn't fully believe her at the time. I thought, hey, 13-year-old kid, she's just trying to have fun or whatever, and she kept on, telling me, hey, come on, check this out, check this out. And I'm like, what are you looking at? So finally, like, we got up, and we were in a grassy area, got up and looked, and come to find out, this is a linear trackway, and these prints look pretty good size. And I'm like, whoa, I think we've got something. So after we followed that linear trackway, I went and got my phone, and it brought us down into a holler, and all these wood structures were there. I want to say, man, Jessica, there's probably like maybe 5 or 6 of these wood structures, and it was really interesting that they were so close in proximity to each other, and they had really big pieces, and I mean, we're talking about trees that are probably like 15 foot tall with the root system still attached to them. It was really interesting. So I was marveling at all these wood structures, going, are you kidding me? Like, we just went here just to hang out and chill and have family time, and here I am back in it, like, out of nowhere, right?
Right.
So I'm looking at all this stuff, and this holler, it's got such a canopy like over it that it kind of darkens the area. So even if it's sunny out, when you go into that holler, it's a little dark, and it makes it even a little bit more creepier. So we were checking it out, and I was just kind of looking at everything and trying to just get a feel for the lay of the land. And suddenly, it started getting, dusky and dark and stuff. And my youngest again was like, hey, we got to go. We got to go. He was adamant, adamant, adamant. Then my wife was like, we got to go. We got to go. And I was like, wait, hey, you guys chill out. Hold on. Let me look at this. And they're like, no, no, no. Something I feel like something is staring at me. I feel like I'm being watched. I feel like I'm being watched and I don't like it. It was eerie. And it was to the point where she was almost in tears, where she was telling me. And I was like, whoa, okay, we got to go. And right as we started leaving, I just happened to look down and I found a print. And little did I know that this print was in line with what Aaron had seen through other people that have had dogman encounters, sightings, things like that. It was in line with this. I guess this print was just something that, wow, it fits, right? So I leaned down, took a picture of it, put my foot up against it, took a picture of it, put my hand up against it, took a picture of it, and just just real quick did it, and then did thought nothing of it. Ran out. We got in the car, took off. Later on, I text Aaron and I go, hey, look, this is a really weird print, man. I don't know what you make of this, but I'm gonna send it to you. I sent it to him, and he's like, dude, this is like what I've seen. Like this is in line with some of the evidence. And now it at that point, again, I'm ignorant to Dogman. I don't know much about it, right?
Mhm.
So then he describes it and tells me, some of these people I've seen different types of dogmen, and these sightings, some of these sightings have has made like a triangle, like in Texas, and it's kind of interesting that it's kind of made that shape. Okay, cool. So I sent it to him. Next thing I know, he's like, "Hey, Rod, can I use these in the book?" And I'm like, "Absolutely, of course, man. You're one of my good friends, of course." So the next thing you know, I'm signing off the papers to agree to use my name and all that stuff, and it made its way in the book. And then towards the end of the actual documentary that they did for this book, uh, you see the print. Shannon LeGros asks Aaron, is there anybody else in Texas that you know of that have had seen any evidence or whatever? And he's like, yeah, a gentleman in San Antonio has documented a print that is in line with a Dogman Prince, or alleged Dogman Prince, I should say.
Right.
And then they show the print, and to me, it blew my mind because here I am, I'm going after Bigfoot, Sasquatch. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. And then
Yeah.
I stopped to think, and I said, wouldn't it be something this whole time I'm chasing a Dogman and not a Sasquatch? And that opened it up for a lot of other things too. And come to find out, there have been some other sightings in the city and outside the city of this upright walking canine.
Oh,
So opened a whole new can of worms for me. So now I've implemented Dogman in the equation because I don't know definitively what I'm going after. You know, my mind said, "Hey, Rod, you're going after Sasquatch, Bigfoot, right?" And then the wrench in the machine is this print, and I go, "Okay, maybe it's Dogman." So that's something that I've always since then I've thrown into the equation, like I said, and then come to find out, and I told you, like I told you earlier, I've got a couple elderly ladies that I interviewed on phone that had an encounter with a canine that was odd, that didn't belong in Texas, and so that makes you wonder. It really
what
does.
do you,
And
what do you mean by odd? What did they say? Did they say like it
so
was it walking on two legs, or was it just like not right? Did it have like a human face or something?
it
Like
was not
what?
it was not right, uh, in the fact that this canine looked like a wolf.
Ooh,
Now,
okay,
wolves aren't in Texas, to my knowledge, you know.
yeah.
And she said it was bigger than a Great Dane, bigger than a Great Dane, and it had pointed ears, which is now and now when she's describing these things, I'm thinking of the encounters that I've heard, firsthand encounters from people that have had interviews with other podcasts, and it's in line, pointed ears. It kind of looks like a wolf. It grinned
Oh,
at them. It smiled at them like a sinister
Ooh,
smile, the yellow glowing eyes. You know,
wild.
it was
I hear
eating
that a lot.
roadkill. What was that?
I hear that a lot. Okay, like that's what I hear with a lot of the encounters of the dogmen are like they look like they're smiling at you. It's kind of
Yes.
ominous, right? Smiling and they eat roadkill. That's like the Beast of Bray Road, I believe, was seen.
Right.
Some of the reports that I get are and like I did that show. We talked about the dogman in the graveyard that was digging that hole in the cemetery in
Yes.
Ohio,
Yes.
and Colleen Norris, who went out and did the actual field investigation for that, and knew the two young ladies who had taken that video of that grave digging dog man.
Yeah.
Um, she said that there had been reports where she took reports from people with people saying that it looked like I think it was like a dog man, like a dog, but it was
Wow.
gigantic and it was eating a dead deer on the side of the road, I believe, like
Wow.
roadkill.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
this, and now, and it, so I originally interviewed this one lady. She was super nice and gracious. Originally I was interviewing her for her encounter sighting that she had of a Sasquatch, an alleged Sasquatch, in an area where that is in line with the creek that I've been researching for over 6 years now, right? So I
Okay.
thought, okay, this is in line with the area, the creek that I've been researching for years. And she described the Sasquatch, and she said, you know, Rod, she said, when I saw this creature, she said it was a female because she saw the anatomy. And she said it looked more human like than ape, covered in hair. She said it probably about 8 foot tall, 3 foot wide shoulders. And she said she made it a point to tell me that she was not really scared witnessing this creature. She wanted to see more. She was like, you know, the, her sister and the daughter-in-law that was in the back seat were just freaking out. Like, let's go, let's go, let's go. And here she is, just sitting there, just going, "No, I want to see this thing." And it was kind of weird because, um, she said this did not strike fear into me. I was interested, and then I threw her a curveball. I said, "Hey," I said, "Is there any chance, by any chance, have you seen an upright walking canine?" And she said, "Wait a minute. Yes, I have. And it was last week." And I was
No.
like, "What? Whoa, are you serious?" And so she said, "No, no, no. If you don't believe me, Rod, my friend is here that was with me that night. And she could tell you the same story." So she brought the friend on the phone and she had the same exact story. So they're driving on this country road, and they live further south from San Antonio. And they're I guess they're going back home. They're what the back way they go, and they on this country road they see this canine. They put the headlights on it. They're driving, maybe 30, 40 miles, and they slow down. They see this canine. It's eating roadkill, and and again, like she said, it was bigger than a Great Dane. It was huge, and it looked like a wolf, and the eyes were glowing yellow. Now, back to when she saw the Sasquatch, she said, "Look, I was interested. I was all about it. I want to see this thing. I wanted to see it walk." And, she described everything. This thing, she said, instilled fear in her instantly. Like instantly. It was just like frozen in fear. And it grinned at one point in time. It grabbed the roadkill and walked off on two legs.
What?
Yeah.
What
And I
did it
thought,
say? You said it was a deer roadkill or what? What kind of
well, they
roadkill was
they they didn't say what kind of roadkill it was because they couldn't really see what the roadkill was, but
it?
they were definite on this thing was huge. It was big. It grinned at them, yellow glowing eyes, picked up whatever it was that it was eating, and then walked off on two legs. And I thought, this is interesting because I was talking to her about Bigfoot. I mean, and then I just threw her a curveball. I said, "Have you seen an upright walking canine by any chance?" Like, I just thought I'd throw it out there. And turns out, wow, a week prior to us talking, she
Yeah.
she she saw that, and it blew my mind. So now again, me thinking that it's not just Sasquatch that I'm looking into researching. It could be Dogman. I don't
Yeah.
know. So
Yeah.
very
That's
eye opening.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so that's kind of like where my team's at too, right?
Yeah.
Because we've been out there looking for Bigfoot. We've established that the Bigfoots are out there. We
Right.
know Bigfoots are out there. We've kind of, I'm not going to say we've like graduated from Bigfoot,
Right. Right.
but
Right.
it's not a graduation thing, but it's like, okay, we've established that they're
Sure.
there.
Sure.
Okay. Now, but, okay,
Yeah.
there's so much other stuff. It's just fascinating. And it's not just cryptids. My team's into like the portals and
Right.
the ETs, and we're getting visitations in our homes and stuff, and like, or we was, I hadn't in a while. I hope not,
Yeah.
but a lot of other stuff. But we got these dogmen. We got these other. There's like an uptick in cryptid sightings and reports right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
So we just don't know what we're gonna get. Okay, you never
Yeah.
do, and I can appreciate all this. It doesn't hurt to ask. Okay,
No,
right?
it doesn't. And and it was something. Now, now this is interesting because this was my first. This is my first time interviewing an eyewitness that had a sighting of a Sasquatch, and to me, you know, what I'm attempting to do, and God willing, I'm able to do this. I want to write a book, and so part of what I wanted to do was establish an area of activity. And what I mean by area, I mean following the creek that I've been researching for years now, because I believe that that is in my opinion, I believe it's a cryptid highway. I really do. And going back to what I tell everybody on my videos, look, this is a creek greenway that runs in and out of San Antonio, and it runs into other small towns. There's multiple water sources. The habitat supports big game. So we've got white-tailed deer that's abundant. We've got all the usual critters. Raccoons, possums. Foxes, things like that. Right? We don't have bears. In my neck of the woods, we don't. Maybe you'll hear about a mountain lion every few years, maybe, right? So there's nothing to compete with these cryptids for the whitetail. Nothing. Nothing at
Okay.
all. And you can't hunt in any of these wilderness parks that I visit that are connected to this creek greenbelt. So again, we're talking about a population that is flourishing. And if you're an apex predator, cryptid, this is like this is amazing to you because it's like an all you can eat buffet. It really
Yeah.
and truly is. So so when I thought about Sasquatch, I thought they're coming in and out, and I've established a theory that I've got, and then you throw in Dogman into it, and it's like, well, yeah, that could happen too, because again, you know, there's not much really competing, and whether the Sasquatch and Dogman compete against each other, that remains to be seen. I don't know that, but there's an abundance of whitetail, so you know, throwing that cryptid into that equation really, I'm not gonna say threw a wrench in the machine, but now I have to look at things different, So I don't know. It's
Well, okay, so it just opened your perspective on it,
yeah,
is what it did. And so you have to be, we have to be aware of the apex predators that are out there, because we're out there hunting for, not like hunting, but we're out there
right,
searching for signs of Bigfoot, but
right,
there's other things that are hunting us out there. And so you need to be able to protect yourself from that kind of stuff, and just to be aware of it.
yeah,
Because a lot of these, there's a lot of people across the country here in the United States who have been attacked and fatally wounded and
hmm
eaten upon by something that some
something,
people, all the cases are different. Okay, all of them are different. I have done research and I've done remote viewing on of several of these cases.
mm-hmm,
um, there are large cats out there
mm-hmm.
that are not identified by the DNR, okay, by the
Wow,
wildlife management people. Like, they're not supposed to have black panthers down here where we live and
yeah,
stuff, but yet
yeah,
there's black panthers on game cams. Okay.
yeah,
And I'm not calling anybody out, but I'm just saying we need to be aware of what's out there, because there are dogmen and werewolves out there, in my opinion.
absolutely,
Okay,
there
that
is,
are
yeah,
attacking people
yeah.
occasionally.
I'm
Yeah.
convinced. I'm convinced, and what's interesting is, um, when I started out doing this, Jessica, I was what you would call an aper. I was an aper. I thought, it was a big primate on that's a biped that was running out there undiscovered. And then as I dug deeper into it,
Yeah.
there were things that people were talking about, firsthand encounters, that blew my mind. I'm like, wait a minute, what? That they saw orbs after this thing, or there was orbs around this creature, or this thing just disappeared into thin air, like, or it looked kind of like the predator, like it was cloaked. Wait a minute, what's so now? Now you've got an element of some type of supernatural, paranormal type of things going on related to this creature. And that's when I started taking on the I guess that's kind of like, I guess, my motto, I guess you would say. I always tell people, if you're open to some of it, you have to be open to all of it. You can't just be open to this little bit,
Yeah.
to fit your narrative, and discard everybody else that's
Yeah.
got some real things to say, that have seen some. And we're talking about professional people. We're not
Yeah.
talking about, just people out in the woods that live out in the woods. We're talking about judges, police,
Yeah.
firefighter. And we're talking about professional people that have seen these things. So, now I have to sit there and go, okay, we have to inject Dogman into this as well. But not only that, uh, even even into that, you talk about people that have shot these things, and it does nothing. It does nothing to this creature. Now, I've talked to people that have shot a Sasquatch, and it screamed and ran off, and they found a little bit of blood or whatever. They found evidence of this thing being shot. I've heard of people shooting dogmen, and this thing turns around and just grins at them and runs off like nothing. It's like, what are we dealing with here? And that's kind of creepy. So
Oh yeah, it's very creepy. And so, okay, let me go back to this. Okay, Robin had put a comment up here. I
sure.
accidentally. Oh, here it goes. 14 military bases around San Antonio, Texas. Okay,
Yeah.
no, I mean
We're
I have a
military
lot. I have
USA.
Yes. Okay. Can you explain to the audience like okay, the where the triangle begins and ends? Like what are the key cities? Because I have a couple of like maps, but they're kind of loose. I'm not exactly sure if
Yeah.
this is the Dogman Triangle. So maybe you
Yeah.
can enlighten us on this a little bit. Because
So
I've
I
got this.
believe,
Is that
and
right?
correct me if I'm wrong. I think, yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So we're kind of in the middle, right?
Okay.
Um, and these now within that triangle, and again, I have to go back and I've read the book, but sometimes you forget some information, so please forgive me. So within that triangle, there are significant sightings and encounters within
Okay.
that and some of these guys, and if I would encourage, the audience to watch the documentary. I believe it's on YouTube, from Small Town Monsters. We've got some people that are ranchers that have been doing this for years, and never believed in anything like this. And then on their land, as they're working cattle, this thing appears, or two of them appear, and they, they're like, wait a minute, what is this huge dog on two legs doing on my property? I've never seen this in my life. Well, I believe one of the ranchers had gone after it, and it ran off. But you know, we're talking about salt of the earth people that just don't make stories up. They don't do things like that. Especially when you're talking about, ranchers in Texas. These are tough old guys, man. And they take no nonsense. So when they tell you something that they saw, you got to listen up, because it's pretty much true, because these guys just don't lie. They don't do stuff like that. So, we're talking about significant dogman encounters and sightings within that triangle, and we happen to be smack dab in the middle of it. So
Yeah.
there you go.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I don't discount anybody's reports and stuff. I mean, these
Yeah,
a lot of the people that we get reports from, they have no reason to make this stuff up.
sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
And and we're all very intuitive people. And once you've been doing this research and these investigations for enough time, you can tell when somebody's being deceptive or not telling you the whole
yes,
truth. We're like, and I've watched a lot of First 48. I'm just kidding.
yeah, No,
I'm
it's
kidding.
no, it's
But
cool.
you
Like
learn the
yeah.
psychology behind it too. You know what I
Well,
mean?
yeah, you got to know that.
So,
Yeah.
right. But but here's
Yeah.
another thing of like all the fields. Okay, oh God, I should not say this, but I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I'll be honest, okay? I'm just gonna put it out there.
Okay.
Um, of all the communities, of like all the stuff all the things that I research, it's like the dogman. I'm not even gonna say it. Okay, there could be a little more deception within some of the dogman stories. Is all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna be honest,
Sure.
okay?
Sure.
And that includes people that have been on my shows. Okay. And I'm only
Sure.
saying that out of firsthand experience,
Yeah.
where you hear stories and you want to believe it, but then down the road you find out that it was a little deceptive. Okay.
Sure.
And I don't know why that is. It's like, I don't understand that, but I don't know if you've come across that or not,
You
but I
know,
have.
I don't doubt it, and I
I believe
always
I just said that.
no. And I think that's an interesting point to bring up because
Yeah,
you have to have that in your head already when you now. I'm not going to write these people off as just hey, you're lying,
right.
but
Well, some
if
of
you
them
have a
are ones that
you
I
have a
encountered.
no, but you have if you have a problem, if you have a problem consistently keeping the same narrative, yeah, that's probably they're probably lying, you know.
Yeah,
So
that's it.
if the story changes dramatically, right? Hey, I wasn't.
That's
Did I say North Texas? I'm in South Texas. Oh, okay.
right.
There's
Wait a
things,
second. Okay,
right?
no, you're right. You're right. And we have to pay attention to that. And I think that a lot. Oh, and one second. I'm so sorry, Trina Myers. Thank you so much for that super sticker. I appreciate you so much. That is very sweet of you. But yeah, I mean, like this. I mean, I think there's people in the chat that are agreeing with me on this. But because
Sure.
there's a lot of this. Like, I mean, I've experienced Bigfoot firsthand. Never experienced Dogman firsthand. I want to experience Dogman firsthand. I have a feeling I will one day.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
people on my team have experienced Dogman. Not a, actually, maybe not. I mean, I think Bob had some investigations
Mm,
of Dogman encounters, and there are people that I know personally that have had encounters. I do believe them.
mhm.
But like Cryptiville says, Dogman is popular, and lots of folks want to get on that train. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So it
I
it,
believe
it
that.
gets muddy
But
sometimes.
here's the other point I want to make up too. Bigfoot is pop culture. It's
Yes.
pop, so it's a little bit more easier to digest with Bigfoot, right?
Yeah.
Because it is literally in our pop culture. It really is. Like our toys, our T-shirts, hats. We are littered with Bigfoot stuff, right?
Yeah.
Um, when now here's what's interesting. The minute you throw in an upright biped walking canine, it's like, no, there's no way. But yet you're okay with maybe a relic hominid, running around the country, existing and having families and things like that. So again, that goes to my point where I tell everybody, look, if you're open to some of it, you have to be open to all of it. You have to be, and you have to hear everybody
Right.
out. Now, if it's outrageous, I'm still going to listen to you. I'm still going to listen to you, but if there are some key words I have to listen for, and if you're having trouble keeping the same narrative, then I'm going to kind of think a little different of you. So now I've only interviewed one person, which was last Saturday, and you know, eh, she had her best friend that was there to corroborate the story, and it was the same story. So I have no reason to believe that there was nothing afoul at all with this. So
Yeah.
yeah,
No, there's a lot of credible people out there, and it's like occasionally. I'm gonna call out like two
yeah,
people. Two people out of all the hundreds of people that I've talked to. Okay,
yeah,
there's at least like two people that it just became discredited after I had even maybe brought one of them on my show before. Okay, now I'm not
yeah,
going to get into who that is or what happened. Okay, but it's like, but then it kind of one bad apple spoils a bunch sometimes, and you're like, oh man, now I have to do my due diligence more to when I bring people on my shows. Like I
mhm,
have to get I need some credibility checks with like,
sure,
let's find out because see, that's the beauty of this, Rod. I'm a
yeah,
field researcher too. So
Yeah.
I know people. Okay. I know
Yeah.
people who research all over the country, and I'm friends with a lot of people. And so it helps. And I only want to bring the best on my channel. Okay. I have a standard, I have a gold standard here. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where I
As you
only bring
should.
people that I trust on, like
Yep.
yourself. And I think you're out there doing the real work, and super
Yeah.
credible. And I can appreciate it.
And to me, Jessica, if you look at any of my videos, I really shy away from going, this is a Bigfoot wood structure. This is blah blah blah. I don't say that because I don't know. I don't know. I will tell you this: a lot of stuff that I find, I don't believe it's human in origin. I really don't. And somebody had brought a point, a very valid point to me. I think it was another podcast interview that I was doing, and he said, people do some weird stuff. You don't think it's people getting out there and grounding and with their bare feet and stuff like that. And maybe it was a bushcraft class and I said, you know what, you make some interesting points, and I'm not going to discredit that and go, no, you're wrong. Hey, if I'm wrong, I'll post a video telling you, hey man, I was wrong about that and I'm sorry. I'll do that. I really will. But in over 6 years of me keeping tabs of my areas, morning, noon, and towards the evening, right? You would have thought I would run into somebody building these things. Somebody. I have yet to run into anybody building these things. So it leads me to believe otherwise, that it's not human in origin. And
Yes.
could it be
Yeah.
Dogman? Could it be Sasquatch? The jury's out. I don't know, but it's
Okay.
very interesting.
It is. And Rod, okay, so here's something else that I got from Grumpy today. Okay. I got this wonderful manual, and I'm not exactly sure who wrote it because I couldn't find a
Yeah,
name except for on the back. It's called A Quick Guide to Bigfoot Stick Structures.
that's
And
cool.
I know that Grumpy had this, and it was important. Okay.
Yeah,
And I've come across my share of some interesting tree bends that were held together and like asterisks,
yep.
stars, and stuff. On the back, it does say Scott Carpenter's name. Okay.
That's really
So
cool too.
it
That's
may
so
be his
awesome.
book, but I'm not sure.
Wow.
I
Yeah,
haven't had a chance to go through it yet, but I'm gonna be looking into that. I think it's
look
wonderful
into it.
that, and I think you should write a book too, and
I w-
and I encourage you to.
yeah. It's funny because I did the last conference I did was a few months ago, and my table was right next to Lyle Blackburn, and I like I always consider myself a student. I don't consider myself like the guy or whatever. That's not me. I'm still learning. I always will be learning, right? So I like to pick people's brains that have been there, kind of understand a lot of this stuff. And I said, hey Lyle, I was like, how did you get into speaking and at these conferences and getting invited? Like, I want to start speaking too. I want to start doing this stuff. He's like, Rod, he's like, write a book, and that's gonna help you, because it's not gonna make you like, hey, I'm God's gift to Sasquatch research, but it helps you tremendously because you've put your knowledge and you've put maybe your theories and everything else into a book where people can read it and they go, hey, you know what, this guy's got something. I think I'd like for him to speak at my conference. And that right there, I was like, you know what, you're right, man. I need to do something like this. So I part of me reaching out to and asking people if they've had any sightings or anything weird in my area that they've seen. Hey man, hit me up, please talk to me, I would love to talk to you. That's part of me mapping out my area, but also gathering new evidence, new sightings that maybe we never knew that, because we've got, what do we got? We've got several Sasquatch sightings around San Antonio. One of them in the 70s, um, one of them in the 2000s, early 2000s, I believe. There's some people out there that have seen these creatures, but these are already a part of somebody else's book. Now I'm looking for new uh, sightings and new encounters, because I do believe there are people out there that have had encounters and sightings, but they're not coming forward. And the hard part about it is trying to make them feel comfortable to come and tell you, because this, people get ridiculed for, being honest about what they saw. I don't know what I saw. I saw this and this. Oh, you're crazy. The family will chastise them, make fun of them, and then they shut up. So I'm trying to find those people that maybe have had some sightings that, maybe we didn't document, and it helps us put the puzzle together a little bit more. And so that's kind of my quest right now, and
Yeah.
for the book.
I love that. Oh man. Well, as soon as you get that thing published, I'm going to bring you back on anytime you want to come on. You have an open invite, Ron. Okay.
Man, I
But
love it.
yeah, thank you. No, we have great conversations. I mean, I actually brought you on Spaced Out Radio last time.
Cool.
So I am
Yeah.
so this is your first time on the Cryptid Hunters channel. So thank you for being here, man.
Oh
This is
man,
great.
awesome.
Yeah. Okay, so I have a friend over here. Okay, my friend, I'm going to come back to Curie Ann's comment in just a second now. My friend
Sure.
Renee's in here. I wasn't going to bring anything that he's told me up, but he's putting it in the chat tonight. So let's just talk about it. He may or may not live or be familiar with Texas. Okay.
Mhm.
And he's got some information about, potentially people being contracted to go take out problematic dogmen. Okay.
Sure.
And now, and I've talked to people before, there's another channel that talks about the Dogman breeding program, and I've covered that here on my channel. I
Right.
think that that's a total possibility. Okay.
Yep.
And I think that there's a high concentration of dogmen and werewolves in Texas for whatever reason. Now, Curie Ann, somebody was asking about, I think it's Curie Ann. Okay. Do you think there's a breeding program in the Texas Triangle? Okay. Well, if there is some sort of a breeding program, I think it's all over the country. Okay.
Sure.
But I don't know. I don't know about the entire cryptid breeding program and stuff. I don't have a lot of proof of that.
Right.
One person that came on my show I'm going to say, I'm not sure I can give him a lot of credibility
Uh-huh.
at this point. Who was anonymous, by the way. But there are a lot of plants and stuff that will come in here, and we'll be talking about real stuff. And then
Absolutely.
they come in here to discredit it by acting like they know what they're talking about, but then discrediting the whole program when there really is a program out there.
Sure.
You know what I
Sure.
mean? So it's like psychological warfare going on over here and
Could
stuff,
be. Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it's
My
weird, right?
my question to those people that are going to throw that out there, I graciously say, look, you obviously know more than I do. Enlighten me. Show me your evidence. Show
Yeah,
me, because here's the way I look at it. And I just said it. I'm a student. I'm not the be all end all of all of this. I will never claim to be that. Right. So if you're telling me that you know something more than what I know, please share with what you got. And if you can't, then we've got our answer already. There we go.
yeah,
So
exactly.
yeah, it always falls apart when people will tell me, well, you're crazy. They're not doing this. They're not doing that. They do this. They do that. Okay. Oh, great. Show me. You clearly know more than what I know. I want to learn. I'm here to learn. Show me. And when they can't, then I'm like, okay, cool. it,
Yeah.
it always falls apart. Always falls apart. So
Yes.
yeah.
Oh my God. Okay, so we have some interesting folks in the chat tonight. I'm loving these comments tonight. So Max Life, love and learning. I'm going to read this.
Yeah.
Okay. Dogmen are mindless killers. Be careful. Us shapeshifters are friends, not monsters like dogmen. They are bad experiments, wild beasts, period, for Montauk and Dulce. I have been to Montauk this past year, by the way. Okay. And
Uh-huh.
I did some Bigfoot. I did Bigfoot research at Montauk at Camp Hero.
The
Okay.
Montauk
Up in the
Monster.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Junior. Yeah, I was up there with Long Island Bigfoot and some other guys.
Oh
Dark Hour
yeah.
Paranormal. We had a really interesting time, and they actually did. I wasn't there because I slept in that morning, but some of the guys had gone out to Camp Hero and actually recorded a Bigfoot while we were out there. Okay,
Wow.
out there. It may have been Junior, maybe not. But this is interesting, right?
Yeah.
And I also saw Max Life was saying that he or she is Native American and has some knowledge on shapeshifters. Now that's okay. So this is a question I was going to ask you, Rod.
Sure. Sure.
Okay, so is there a difference between werewolves and dogman in your opinion?
So, to my knowledge, werewolves are people that can shift into a upright walking canine. Dogman, to my knowledge, and again, I could be totally wrong, are just that. they don't shift into anything else. Now, the dogman that I have heard from other people, their sightings on various podcast interviews, um, 9 times out of 10, they'll tell you it looked like Anubis. Now Egyptian stuff, you get into all that, right?
Yeah.
The god Anubis. So you know, I tend to think, in my humble opinion, and again, I'm not speaking gospel there because I could be wrong. I think what we're dealing with is a very spiritual thing, and I think it's evil. I think it's pure evil because, to me, based off of all encounters and sightings that I've heard people talk about on various podcasts, these things get a rise out of fear, out of fear from people. It's almost like they get energized from it. Anything that does that is pure evil. It is not meant for good. It is an abomination. And that's what I feel. And again, I'm basing this off of encounters and sightings. So
Oh yeah. There are, yeah, anything that is thriving off of fear,
yeah,
you know, is not good. And that includes humans too. Okay, humans.
sure,
Dark
sure.
entity attachments are in a lot of, could be in a lot of people and stuff too.
Oh
And
yeah,
dark entities can not only inhabit human bodies, but cryptid bodies as well,
yes,
I guess. Right?
yes, yes. I
And
believe that.
that's like we're like, okay, so what's like the line with, like, where's the line with like demonic entities and like werewolves or dogmen, or is it the same with some of them? I don't think dogmen are all evil and stuff. I haven't heard a whole lot
Sure,
of terrible stories about them. You
sure.
know,
They're so, and that's a really good question. I've talked to people that say there's gray area in this, and I've talked to people that said no, it's black and white, right? And they equate it to this. They go, if it's not for God, then it's not good. It's evil, right? Black and white. Okay. Now, okay, maybe I can get behind that, but it's a subject that is just so, there's so much gray area with it because people have seen different variations of this creature, and it's displayed. Some of it has displayed different behavior, and now I will say this: the majority of the behavior has been sinister, very sinister, right? And to your point, I don't believe they're all evil. Well, just like, there's some Sasquatch out there that are considered very docile, and they just kind of look at you and then just walk off and, hey, we're done. Or there's some Sasquatch that, hey man, they're looking for a fight. Like they're not happy. Like they want you gone and they're gonna do something about it, type of thing. So, and then I've heard some really, one of the most interesting stories was, I've heard of Sasquatch and Dogman working together. The Sasquatch was the facilitator, and the Dogman was the creature that followed. It took instructions from the Bigfoot. So, it's interesting. But I will say this: I'll throw another wrench in the machine. I feel like a lot of this is from within the earth, underground
yeah,
caverns. I believe it. I believe, and
yeah,
don't be surprised if you hear about people having encounters with creatures that we've never seen in our life coming from these cave systems. Because I think it's
yeah,
going to happen. I think it's going to keep on happening. You know.
yeah.
So
Yeah, I
and
talk about that a lot. I talk about that a lot, and because it even ties into like ETs and
mm,
aliens. Okay, like I
exactly.
with all the research I've done, all the remote viewing targets I've done, I don't believe the ETs are coming from outer space at this point.
No.
I think that they're coming from inner Earth or somewhere here on
Yes.
this planet, or in it from potentially a different dimension or something.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not so
Yeah.
sure what I think about outer space anymore.
You've
Okay.
hit the nail. To me, Jessica, what you were talking about now. Somebody may have a different perspective, and I respect that, and I'm not going to
Yeah.
fight you on it. But you're in line with what I'm feeling, and a lot of this is inner earth. And here's the interesting part
Mhm.
about this: San Antonio sits on a huge underground cavern. we list the city literally sits on top of several cave systems, huge cave systems that stretch all the way from San Antonio to Austin, which is about an hour plus drive. Think about how big that is. Cave
Yeah.
systems, right? So,
Yeah.
and you can't tell me the city or towns know what is in those caves. They don't know every nook and cranny. They have no idea. Just like when they build parks, they don't know what's in these woods. They know the trails that they want to use and they want to make, but they don't know every inch of that park. They have no idea. So,
Yeah.
I think you're onto something. I really do.
Yeah. All right, Max Life. I don't know who you are, but I need you on my show. Okay. This Max Life, love and learning. Hit me up, thecryptidhuntress@gmail.com. Okay. Max Life, let me read this because we have people that are listening on podcast platforms.
Yeah.
And so let me read the comment. Max Life says, I've been in the Vatican twice too and lived in Florence for a year. And the Vatican has demons captured beneath the catacombs. Myself and other VIPs had access to the catacombs with no cameras or something else. I don't know what that is. Phone. I guess that's a phone. Okay.
Yeah.
So interesting. I mean,
Well,
I've heard stuff like that before, but
I'm with him on that too as well. I really am. And again, I think as we get into the latter years here, when we start progressing into
right.
2025 and so on, I think you're going to find that we're going to start finding out some things that we have been taught as children.
Mm-hmm.
It's not true, and it's actually the opposite. It's interesting. It's very interesting. So and where the cryptids fit in all of this, I think that uh I'm going to go out on a limb here. I think a lot of them are abominations. I think some of them are not necessarily our forest friends. um I think they're here for something different. And again, I could be totally wrong, but that's kind of what my gut is telling me. So, you know.
Well, here on the Cryptid Hunters channel, we go with our guts.
Mm,
Okay. And
yeah.
like I said, I don't discount anything, and I love hearing things from every angle. That's why I like bringing people. I like bringing people with different experiences on my shows.
Yeah.
Okay, so that we can all kind of put our heads together on this and
Yeah.
kind of mix it up a little bit because I want to hear every angle, because that's the only way we're really going to figure these things out and let people make their own decisions based off of our conversations.
Yeah.
You know, I'm
Let's
not one of those people that's like, this is the way, and you better,
yeah.
but I believe this. I will
Yeah.
change my mind on here if I need
That's
to.
ridiculous.
Okay.
Yeah,
You know.
what's funny, Jessica, is that it's interesting. I was looking back at podcast interviews that I've done in the past, and I saw a progression of change in my way of thinking with these cryptids, and I thought, oh man, is this bad? But I'm thinking, no, no, no. You're learning. You're learning. This is the progression. This is learning. You're not wrong, but you weren't really well educated enough and you were ignorant to a lot of things. And then somebody enlightens you with something and you're going, "Whoa, okay. Now I have to put that into the equation." All those things like I told you before, I started out as an aper. And now I'm finding that I don't think that this is I don't think this is just a hairy ape out there running around. I really don't believe that. So
Hey, congratulations into graduating into the woo camp. I'm just
you know
kidding.
what? Hey, I'm okay. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that because you know,
Yeah.
as far as my beliefs go, and what I believe at my core, you know, it it, it it's in line with what my belief system is. So it's not far fetched to say that demons do exist, right? There is good and evil, right? So
Mhm.
there is a devil, right? There is Satan, right? So understanding that Satan cannot create things, but he can distort things. He can distort. So if we're looking at it from that perspective, the dog man and a lot of cryptids fit into that area. So
Yeah.
You know.
They do. Okay. Well, I wanted to. I've got to tell this story tonight. Okay,
Mhm.
because I went to one week ago tonight. I was actually in Virginia City, Nevada, and I was doing a ghost hunt, a ghost tour, a ghost investigation at the
Mhm.
Washoe Club. Where the ghost adventurers had gone and done some, had some great evidence and stuff. Well, anyways, okay, that's besides the point because I had to travel there and back from Georgia. Okay,
Oh
and
wow.
of course, like I flew across the country and it took me 19 hours to get there. I was on a couple different planes there and a couple different planes back at the airport, meeting people I've never met before, people I'll never see again. So
Wow.
imagine the interesting conversations I was having with everybody,
Oh
right?
yeah.
As to you ask, like, where are you going? What are you doing? Why are you here? Just small talk. But
Yeah.
the people that I sat by, there was no coincidence that I was sitting by these people. And on the way from Reno to Denver, because I had a layover, I sat by a couple and shout out to y'all. Okay, if you guys are watching tonight, you guys were the best. All right, but we were talking, and the husband happened to be a big game hunter, and
Mm,
he did that in Texas.
mm,
Okay,
mhm.
so y'all, you know where this story's going. Okay, so he's a
Oh
big
yeah.
game
Oh yeah.
hunter. He lives in I think it's Nebraska is where they live, or it could have been
Wow. Okay.
Kansas, Iowa. I don't know, somewhere out Midwest. Okay, but
Yeah.
even though we landed in Denver, I remember them saying they had a 5 hour drive home after that. Okay, so wherever that was in Denver, and so, but he was saying that he was like, so what were you doing out there? We were at a wedding. What were you? And I was like, well, it was Spaced Out Radio, and I'm a Bigfoot field researcher. It's always a fun way to start a conversation, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and I have a show about Bigfoot and Dogman, and he just looked at me like, what? What? He was like, are those real? Like, and that's the thing. People will look at us and be like, well, are those real? And
Mhm.
I say yes. And he's like, well, no way. And he was like, but well, the guy he works with actually wears a Bigfoot shirt all the time, and he has Bigfoot stickers on his car. He's got Bigfoot everything. He's really into
Mhm.
Bigfoot. And he was like, but I never really took it into account. I just thought he was just there's a possibility it could be real, but I've never seen one. Okay.
Sure.
He's like, I've never met anybody who's seen one.
Right.
Okay. And he's never asked that guy if he'd seen one. And I was like, well, hey, let's take it a step up. Have you seen a dog man in
Yeah.
Texas? If you're in
Yeah.
Texas, because we have a lot of reports of werewolves and dogmen in Texas.
Yeah.
And he was
Throw it
like, well,
out there.
he's a professional tracker. This is what he does. He was showing me
Wow.
videos of like they're out there like hunting like it looks like African animals and so I guess they ship them. I don't know. I'm not sure what they
There.
do.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's game ranches out there,
Yeah.
Jessica, that so especially if you're going into South Central Texas, the environment and the weather is close to what you would get in Africa as far as the humidity, things like that. And so you'll have exotic game ranches that will transport various exotic game on their ranch, and you can go out and track these things and shoot them. Which I mean, I'm kind of not cool with that, but
No. Or
it
no,
is what
right.
it is. Yeah, yeah,
It does. Well, okay, so he was like, okay, so he wanted to know all about it because he was like, look, if anybody has seen any tracks, it would be me. Okay.
right.
Like it would be me and my team. Like we would be out there. We were like always on the hunt. On the hunt. That's the name of my show tonight. On the hunt, right? They're always on the hunt. He actually told me, I gave him my card. He was like, if you ever have any tracks that get sent in and you're having trouble identifying them or whatever, please send those to me. I want to see them. I'll
Wow.
help you identify them.
Yeah,
And he was talking about how he's gonna have his buddies like contact me and stuff. And I mean, I was like, dude, I want to come out to Texas,
yeah,
come look for Dogman. But
yeah.
it expanded his mind. He was like, the whole trip, he's like, well, now I'm going to be on the lookout for these tracks.
Right.
I want to look for these things. I didn't even know these things existed.
Yeah.
So, and he didn't think I was super crazy, okay, or
No.
anything. And it
No.
was a wonderful conversation.
Yeah.
It really was. But I was
Hunt.
like,
Hunt.
I didn't mention the Dogman Triangle, but I just said that there's a lot of Dogman and werewolf reports out of Texas.
Sure.
Okay, so yeah,
Hunters are going to be your. I think the hunters that are forthright with their and honest with what they've seen
yes.
are going to be your probably your best people to interview, because these are guys that have been out in the woods for years and years, since probably they were kids, and they've probably seen type of
Track.
wildlife that is
Yeah.
a native to that land, right? And it's even bonus when you get somebody that's a tracker, right? So then, you
Yeah.
know, those are going to be the guys that you want, right, to talk to, because if they're forthright again in their information and telling you what they saw, that's great. But then you've got the guys that you go, well, hey, have you seen a Sasquatch? And they'll be like, what? No, whatever. But let me tell you about this weird bear I saw, on
Right.
two legs. Okay, right. Well, you're describing a Sasquatch or a dog man, but for them, for those guys, I think, and this is just me going on a limb, I think they want to try to rationalize it as a big game animal, and they can't, so they're just like, all right, whatever. I'm just gonna move this off to the side and just keep on living, because to me, if they succumb to the idea, or not even the idea, but the hard concrete evidence of these cryptids being out there, Sasquatch, Dogman, now being in the woods is a totally different thing. And some of these guys don't want to go back because it's ruined their fun. It's ruined their hobby, or in some cases their career, because of these things.
Yeah.
So they don't want to succumb to going, yeah, I saw a biped looking ape with long hair walking through the woods, and now they have to rationalize it as a bear or something, because again, it's one of those things where if they succumb to going, yeah, it's this weird looking creature, then that changes everything for them, and it could change a lot for, like I said, their hobby, their career, things like that.
Yeah. Exactly. And
You
that's
know?
what that gentleman was telling me. He's like, well, I didn't really want to think they were real.
Yeah.
He's like, I got enough crap to worry about. He's like,
Right.
I focus on my family, putting food on the table, coming home safe for my family. He's got 2 little kids at home. He
Yeah.
was like, I just can't, it's just a lot to wrap my head around when we've got craziness going on in this world. He was like, that's the last thing I need to worry about. But I think it's
Exactly.
important that people like him be aware of the
Yo,
potentiality of things
you
like that
have
being
to
out
be.
there, right?
Yeah,
I
because
mean, just to
it's a
know.
real thing. And I tell people this: look, if you want to discredit the subject, then you have to discredit well over 3,500 eyewitnesses across the U.S. You're telling me all those people
Yeah.
are wrong? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I'm not going to
Yeah.
say that there are people that lie and hoax. We've seen that. You've probably seen
I've
that,
seen it.
right? But but
I've seen it. I talked about that earlier. Yeah,
but
I have.
I mean,
Unfortunately.
I'll say this: if there's 1,000 sightings that I'm looking at, and one person is right, we've got a problem. So
Right.
yeah, I
Right.
can't discredit all those people all in their sightings, and
Yeah.
so
Well,
you know
okay,
you know
so oh yeah, go ahead. I got a
no,
question for you though.
I was gonna say, to add on that, it's interesting. Here's what's interesting, and I'm a believer in UAPs and UFOs as well, because I've witnessed 3 of them firsthand. Me and my wife. Um, it's interesting that people can believe that there are UAPs, UFOs, aliens, up out in the sky and all that stuff in space, but yet the idea of a upright biped hominid or an upright walking canine is like, no, surely that's crazy, right? But yet
Yeah.
here you are talking about flying saucers and things like that, right? So again, you got to be open to all of it, in my
You
opinion.
do. Oh God. Okay, so I got to tell a quick story too because my
Sure.
buddy Craig Action Jackson, he's been on my show a couple of times, y'all. He came on to talk about. He was my cave expert. Okay, on the
Oh,
show
cool.
one time, and he's one of my teammates. I was with him today and yesterday, and he also came on my show talking about Corpsewood Manor. Okay, y'all might remember Craig. And he was talking today about how, because he was one of the original teammates of my first group that I became a part of, Bigfoot hunting. And he was like, yeah, it was all fun and games back when it was just a big old monkey in the woods. We were looking for
Right.
an area. He was like, but then the aliens got involved. He was like, it was like there was no finding Bigfoot. Like we were finding it, but it was elusive, and like they're there,
Yeah.
but you can't see them. They're invisible. And then you got the ETs, you got the UFOs, and then you got all
Yeah.
this other stuff that's happening, and you can't do anything about it. You can't. How can you protect yourself from things you can't see like that, like walking
Sure.
into portals and stuff? And he
Yeah.
was like, it just got to be too much. He said,
Yeah. Yeah.
because it is like you have when you do this, you have to be in it. Like we talked about with my team today, we're either all in or we don't keep doing this. Okay.
Yeah.
Because it's become so dangerous. We've lost two of our teammates. Okay. And now can we say 100% it was because of our research? No. Do we suspect it could have been? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. We all do, because you have to go, if you're going to do what I'm doing, we go all in or we don't.
Yeah.
Okay. We just don't do it.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, and I'm not just saying like you can't go out and like ride your truck around the national parks or whatever you want to do. Go look,
Right.
do it. I encourage everybody to do that. Please, y'all, go out in the woods. Go have
Right.
some fun. Go camping. Man, just
Right.
go have fun. Don't be scared of this stuff. Don't be scared of it. Just be
Right.
aware.
Right.
But
Be aware.
the stuff that we're doing, Rod, it's like be open to all of it.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying like don't do it if you're not open, but just know the dangers. Okay.
Sure.
And I mean, I'm not scared. Okay, this sounds crazy. I'm not scared to die at this point. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm really not. And
Yeah.
I don't think I ever have been really, even though I don't want to die. I'm not planning on it, but
Right.
I know I have a very high faith in God. Okay,
Yeah.
like I know that I'm very spiritual. I have a faith in God that when it's my time, it's my time. Okay,
Right. Right.
and so that's why I live life to the fullest. I live
You
life to
have
the
to.
max.
You
I
have
live
to.
life to the max life. Oh my God, look, we got max life in here. Okay. Yes. I'm like max life. I'm living my life to the max.
You have to,
For
man.
real.
You
Yeah.
have to. You really
Yeah.
do. And I could not live my life um
Yes.
not
Thank
knowing,
you.
not saying like there's more out there. I mean, how can I find it hard for people to just sit there and just go to their mundane jobs and then go home and hey, raise your family. That's great. That's awesome. But God, there's so much more out there. Why aren't you experiencing that? Why? Well, and to me, that was always the hard thing. And I think that's because part of me, really from a young age, and I understood that there was more to the world than just, our regular animals that we saw. I knew there was more out there. And, come to find out there is. There totally is. If you and even if you talk about, the mountain gorillas in Africa, those were the pandas were considered cryptids. They were folklore until somebody was like, "Oh, hey, they really exist." Here they are. So and I'm not equating that to Bigfoot or a Dogman, but what I'm saying is, you have to open up your mind to a lot of this stuff and understand that, they're out there and be aware, like you said, be aware.
Mm.
You know,
Be weird. Don't be scared. Don't be
yeah.
scared. Don't be scared.
I
Okay,
love it.
but just be aware. But I
Yeah.
mean, it's okay to be scared. Listen, being scared is just a sign that you're alive. Okay.
Yeah.
And here's another thing I like to tell people, like, do at least one thing that scares the hell out of you. At least every year, do something. Like, I'm not saying
Right.
go bungee jumping and stuff. I don't say
Right.
do stuff like that, but do something that's exhilarating. You know,
Sure.
something that's
Sure.
going to get your blood pumping. Okay,
Yeah.
change things up. Do something you thought you'd never do, like once a year.
Yeah.
Just do it. I mean, we're
Become a
we're only
become
here
a
for a
Bigfoot
short while.
researcher.
Yeah, become
you
a
know?
Bigfoot researcher. That's
Hey,
right. Like
that's
go
how
go go hunt for fairies in Ireland or something.
yeah,
I don't know. Go
yeah.
look for the little people in national parks. I mean,
Go
just
look
do
for
whatever.
the Wendays, right?
Yeah.
I fell into this, and it wasn't. I really don't believe it was by accident. I think it was something that was supposed to happen in my life, and I think that was. I really fully believe that it was God's plan for me to be in this, and it happened to where I stumbled upon, and my story. I stumbled upon a guy's YouTube channel from Utah who was showing me some real stuff in the form of wood structures, and he had his own sightings and things like that. And from there, it just spiraled into this like crazy you know, I mean, I was out in the woods every day that I could get out in the woods, and that's where I started mapping out areas and understanding the subject and listening to other people that had encounters and sightings and studying these things. So open your mind, man. Open your mind. And, I'm going to tell you this. Um, I really don't believe that our government really has, and everybody knows this, has our best interest at all because, you know, uh, I think they know about these things. I think they probably have a few subjects, if not many. And, they know. And so for us to be equipped with that knowledge, I think is strength and strength in numbers. And I think that's what we need. So.
Yeah. Oh yeah, big time. Absolutely. And
Mhm.
yeah, this is there's just so much out there, y'all. And I do want everybody, I think I encourage everybody to just live your best life, okay? And like I'm
Sure.
doing. And I tell you, I was just out in the woods today, and I got rained on. I had my keys locked in the car. I had all sorts of weird crap go down today. Okay. I almost didn't even make it home. It was raining so hard, but I was
Oh my
living my
gosh.
best life today. Okay. I was. I'm here.
There you
And,
go.
uh, and this is the cherry on top. This is the best. Oh my gosh, Rod. I love talking with you about this. I mean,
Man, I do
we have
too.
a lot in common here when it comes to that. So,
Oh, absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And,
Yeah.
like I said, when I started out in this, yeah, I really believe that it was a big ape out there running around. And, when you start educating yourself a little bit more and you'll find that there's more to this creature than just it being a biped, upright walking ape. There's so much more to it. And and going back to what we talked about earlier, I believe a lot of this stuff. I believe a lot of these cryptids reside underground. I really do. And
Me too.
get the UFOs and all that stuff. You know, I the same thing. I believe that too as well. So yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Okay. Okay. Listen, I've had a long weekend, so we're not going to do a 2 hour show tonight, y'all.
No worries.
Yes, for sure. I want you to tell the audience about your event you have coming up tonight, okay? And
Yeah,
I'm gonna,
yeah,
I'm gonna leave off screen for just a half second. I'll be right back. You be telling them, and I'm gonna put this up on the screen, okay?
absolutely, absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome.
So what we're doing July 31st, it's going to be uh, the first event, and the hope here is that we're going to do it monthly. Um, it's called Symposium of the Strange, and we're going to touch on different subjects monthly. Again, it's paranormal, cryptid. Um, Anything strange, UAP, UFOs, all those things we want to touch on. It's going to be a symposium every month. This first one, we're going to have myself and Ryan Edwards, cryptozoologist, one of the youngest cryptozoologists out there. He's a published author out of San Antonio as well. Brilliant guy, and I'm happy to say he's one of my good friends. And then we've got Ken Gerhard, who is I mean, the name goes without saying. So, if you know cryptozoology, you know Bigfoot, you know a lot of cryptids, you know the name Ken Gerhard, and he's in San Antonio as well. So, the three of us are going to be speaking, and it's going to be a 2 hour duration, and we're going to speak 30 minutes apiece. We're going to have our tables out there with some of our Bigfoot stuff, and um, then we're going to have a Q&A afterwards. So again, the whole idea for Symposium of the Strange. Oh, and I forgot. Christopher Jordan from Curious Realms is really. He's been like he's one of the biggest blessings for this whole thing because he's providing the audio and the video and amazing guy, very intelligent. I think one of the guys you want to pay attention to. But we're going to be doing this hopefully monthly, and let's see what happens. And I, I equate it to this. I think it's kind of like almost like a convention, but like it's condensed to like 2 hours type of thing. So um, there you go. And it's going to be in San Antonio, um, pretty much mostly. So maybe Austin. I don't know. So we're just going to try it first on the 31st, see how it goes, and then go from there. So we'll see what happens. Oh, hey, I don't think I could hear you, Jessica.
Oh, sorry. I'm just sitting here talking. Okay. I'm
No, it's
sorry.
okay. It's
No, I
okay.
needed to. Listen, I had to run take a quick break, y'all. Okay. It's
Sure,
been a
sure,
long day, but I'm back
sure.
and better than ever. Okay. Um, so yeah, so it's gonna be right there at the Dogman Triangle. Okay, right. So
Right in
and
San Antonio.
somebody's in San Antonio. Okay. And so this is
Mhm.
like an in-person event where you can go
Yeah,
meet everybody. Those are so important right now. Okay. I think that it's so important that we get out and we talk to people firsthand because
yeah,
you know what I find, Rod, is that people like to tell their stories. Okay,
yeah.
where they, a lot of people are not comfortable going online and getting in chat rooms and
Right.
talking. Luckily, okay, so on my channel we have, everyone is super welcoming here on my channel. And please,
Yeah,
if you guys are watching for the first time, please don't be scared to hop in the chat. I know it's not cliquish at all. We just know each other because we're
yeah,
always here. I do 4 live shows a week here on this channel, or 3
yeah.
here on this channel. And we all kind of know each other, so please don't be scared to hop in. My moderators are the best in the business, y'all. Okay.
That's awesome.
And we're very welcoming, and it's great to talk here live, but it's
Sure.
even better to go in person to meet each
Yeah,
other, right,
yeah.
and tell our stories.
It's a different
So
experience, and some
yeah.
and to your point, Jessica, I think some people want that face-to-face interaction to tell their story, and that's what I'm here for. If anybody, in and around the Texas area, Bear County and surrounding areas, if you've had an encounter or a sighting, and it's easier said than done. I get it. I totally understand because it's all fun and games until this thing happens, and then it changes your life, and then you're ridiculed by your family, your friends, and there's nowhere to go. You feel like there's nowhere to go to talk about this stuff. That's why people like you and me, Jessica, exist, because we're open, and we're not going to ridicule. We're going to give you a sympathetic ear. We're going to listen to you. And to me, that's what it's all about. So if you're somebody that wants to come out and tell your story, please come out and talk to me. I'll listen to you.
Yeah. And you got a great lineup. I've done some shows with Ryan Edwards. Actually, he's been on my show before, Space Out Radio.
That's
um
my buddy,
he
man. That's my
he's
bro.
he's so knowledgeable, man. He is so
Yeah,
knowledgeable on
yeah,
cryptids,
yeah.
all the
He's
different
amazing.
types of cryptids. Okay, so when I was muted and I was talking to myself, like, dude, that happens. I was just sitting here talking about the Lake Worth monster. Okay, because somebody in
Yeah,
the chat, I think it was Bernard, had put up something about the Lake Worth monster. What
yeah.
that is that near? That is near where? Where that's somewhere in the? Is that in the Dogman Triangle too?
So yeah, that is north,
It's in
more
Lake
northeast,
Worth. So I don't know
Dallas,
where that is.
Dallas Fort
Yeah.
Worth area. I
Okay.
think hence the Worth, Lake Worth monster.
Okay.
Um, a lot of people uh, witnessed that creature, and I believe the story goes that it threw multiple, I think, rocks or I want to say whatever items it threw at people out in this area that saw it. I think they were gathering for. And again, I'm drawing a blank here, but yeah, that is a I think northeast. I want to say Dallas Fort Worth, maybe Arlington, out there.
Okay. Okay. That's more like, okay. So from what I can remember, the Fort Worth or the Lake Worth monster, isn't that like a goat man or something? Because you guys have a lot of freaking goat men, man.
I
Texas
want
is
to.
like the goat man capital of the country.
Texas is like a cryptid, like melting pot. It really is. We've got Goatman, we got Chupacabra, we've got
Lake
we got Sasquatch. If you want to go, the hotbed for Sasquatch really is East Texas, out there by Lake Conroe, the Sam Houston National Forest. That area there as well. Uh, but we've got a lot of different types of cryptids that have been cited and documented and documented in books. So to me, if you want to really learn any of those things or read about any of that stuff, the best thing you can do is buy any of the books from Ken Gerhard and my buddy Lyle Blackburn. Those guys have been doing it way longer than I have, and they're way more knowledgeable, and they've got firsthand encounters from the witness or from witnesses, and even some of the lore as well. So there's a little small town northeast of San Antonio called Converse, and you've got the folklore of the story of the Converse werewolf, which is again
Okay.
supposedly a dogman encounter in the I think the late 1800s, if I'm not mistaken. So but those guys, I would encourage anybody that is looking to educate themselves on any of these encounters, buy their books. Ken Gerhard and Lyle Blackburn, like hands down, those guys.
Oh yeah, very knowledgeable. I love that. Oh, Corey Cole says, "Come to Oklahoma Red River if you want to see cryptids." That is so interesting. I was actually out in the field today with two gentlemen, Barry and Matt. Okay, from Oklahoma. They're Bigfoot
Mm,
field researchers. They were good friends with Grumpy, and they
mm.
drove all the way from Oklahoma to
Oh
come down
wow,
here to the memorial today. So
that's
that was cool
amazing.
getting to meet them. There's so many Sasquatch sightings there. My buddy
Yeah,
John Vendeventer, he lives in Hanobi,
yeah.
Oklahoma. They have a lot. They have a Sasquatch museum there, I think. Just like we have one here in Georgia too. But lots of Bigfoot sightings. And
It's funny. My wife,
mhm.
one of our sons, graduated from basic training, Army basic training, in I think it was a base in Georgia. It used to be called Fort Benning. I forgot what
It's
it's
Fort
called.
Benning. No, it's still Fort Benning. It's
It
that's
okay,
that's actually not far from where we do some research at the Troop
okay.
Herd Corridor. There, it's like the largest. Okay, so they have like the it's like the most reports of alien abductions
Oh,
come from that
whoa.
area. Yeah.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, she was telling me, she's like, there's a museum out here, and it's I just kind of briefly saw something about it, and we couldn't drive up there, but or it was a little too far out of the way. But I was like, whoa, there's a Bigfoot museum. I didn't know there was one in Georgia, so that's kind of cool.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. Well, yeah, the Bigfoot Museum's up in North Georgia, but
Ah,
congratulations on your son graduating from that
thank
too.
you. Yeah.
And I saw your Facebook. Happy birthday to your wife from the Cryptid Huntress and crew
Oh,
too.
that's
So,
awesome. Yeah, I'll tell her. Yeah, thank you so
yeah,
much. I
that's
appreciate that.
awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. But there's
She's a
okay.
big driving force for me. Uh,
Oh, that's
she's
great. You know what? The family that Sasquatches together and Bigfoot's together stays together. I'm telling you.
hey,
I take my son out with me, just like you
yeah,
have your
man.
kids out
That's the way
there.
to do it.
Yeah.
My wife and I have had, well, I talked about an encounter that we had with some vocalization, a growl that was projected and then another object that was thrown at us, and that was with my wife. So she got to hear it,
Really?
and yeah, it was interesting. So yeah, no,
I love that. How does your wife feel about that? Is she like she doesn't get
she's
scared, does she? Or does
no,
she just kind of
she's
does she go
she's
towards the danger?
I'm okay. It's sad to say, I'm gonna admit this. I'm the scaredy cat. I'm the
No.
scaredy cat.
No.
She no, she'll no, she is not scared one bit. And I'm just like, man, like I'm the guy that's apprehensive, like, hey, like let's dial it back a little bit. She's like, no, we need to go see what that was. And I was like, oh my God, like, oh, so yeah,
Love it.
yeah,
I
she's
love it.
brave, man. Yeah, she's my warrior, man.
Well, okay, when we first started the show tonight, you were talking about one of your kid had found a track line, right?
Yeah,
And I
that's
was
that's my
thinking,
youngest.
okay, so your youngest had found a track line, and I was thinking, like in my mind, I was like, well, that's kind of like when you go fishing, like you find like a great track line, like the kid. Okay, when you go fishing, like it's usually the person, like the kid, with like the child-sized fishing pole that catches the biggest fish.
It's exactly right. No, you're right.
Is
And
that a
and
good comparison or what?
no,
Right?
and what's interesting, and it's kind of like like what out of the mouth of babes, right? I mean,
Yes.
and I feel bad because I kind of just like, yeah, that's fun, that's funny, like, yeah, cool. Like I wasn't, I didn't take her seriously. And what I learned from that event was that I need to I need to rethink this. Like, if one of my kids is like, hey, look, this is going on and this is real. I've seen it. I need to pay attention. And that was my mistake. And I learned a very, very valuable lesson that day, So yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome to, I've been trying to teach my son and also my friend here, David Pardue, who's one of my teammates.
Mm.
He lives up in North Carolina. He's a big time Bigfoot field researcher. He lives not too far from Uwari up there, up in the national
Okay.
forest.
Okay.
And he's got some wonderful footage. He's been on the show just recently. He was on here. And I'm sorry you couldn't come today too, David. We missed you at Grumpy's Memorial today.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, he's got some very fantastic Bigfoot stuff going on up
Oh,
there. A lot of
right
great
on.
evidence. And
Right on.
yeah.
Well, I'm always looking to network with people.
Mhm.
To me, it is important to build relationships. In this, relationships to me are the cornerstone of so many things, and I'm open to building relationships with people. And you don't even have to believe what I believe. You don't have to be,
Right.
Hey, I'm not against you. I'm not opposed. Again, I'm a student. I always will be, and what that means is that I'm committed to learning. That's what it means. And whether if you think it's Sasquatch is from another planet, great. Let me hear you.
Right.
Or if you think it's coming from inner Earth, great. Let me hear you. Like I am so open to all of this now that anybody from any camp, whether it's the Apers or from the Woo camp, you know, tell me please, because I want to learn. So don't think that I'm somebody that's just going to shut you down. I don't do that. And that's why I keep my Facebook group private, because it isn't public, because I'm of the mindset of quality over quantity. If I've got 500 people that are quality people that are hey, you don't have to agree with everything, but hey, we have a civil conversation. We're adults. Man, that's awesome. I'd rather have that than 5,000 people that are a bunch of spammers and trolls, so.
Right. Oh man. Yeah, me too any day. I feel you on that. But yeah,
Yeah,
we don't have scammers and trolls here at the Cryptid Hunters channel. We just have a bunch of really freaking awesome people
that's
in the
awesome,
chat
man.
tonight. God, we've had the best chat tonight. There's people in our chat. Okay, like there's so many people in here that I want to bring on the show to
Yeah,
talk live.
heck
People that
yeah.
I know and people that I'm just seeing in here for the first time tonight too. We have a lot of new people in here tonight.
Can I can I
So
can I suggest somebody, Jessica?
yes,
Maybe to
please.
have on. So there's a young man in Tennessee. I believe his name is Harley Owens. I don't know if you've had him on your show yet.
Not
Um,
yet. I've been
I,
eyeballing him though. I saw him. I did check out his Facebook page the other day. So yes,
we
I've been
yeah.
eyeballing him. If you know him, send him my
We've
way.
been, and I can say that I've talked to him on chat and everything else, and he's a sharp young man who has had a crazy encounter with the Sasquatch. And I would encourage you to have him on your show. I think he's a nice. I think he's kind of the future of what we're doing. So maybe that may be somebody that you would like to have on your show. I would encourage that. So. It's
Yes.
good. Seems
Oh,
like a
I
good kid.
will.
Yeah.
I would love. I'd be too old. Don, you're never too old to research. Trust me. Okay,
Never.
I'm
Never.
responding to this right here. You're never too old. Listen, you can do like some of the guys on my team whenever they're having health issues, or they don't feel good. They man our base camp radios. Okay, you
Yeah.
can even do that. That's the kind of stuff we do if you go out with the team and things
Absolutely.
like that. Um,
Hey, I'm
you
out
can
there in
always
the
man
woods,
the
man.
radios.
I'm out there in the woods. I'm gonna be 50 in August. So I
Oh
just
yeah.
don't. Yeah, I just don't believe in just hey, you get to a certain age and that's it. Like, no, man. You keep going. Keep going if you can.
Don't ever stop. Never stop.
Yeah.
It's all in our blood. Oh, what I was going to say about, I was actually going to talk about David Pardue some more too. I love you, David, man. He's in here in the chat tonight.
Right
But
on.
he's been a big factor in, teaching even my son a lot of stuff. And even Susan's on my team. She's in here too. A lot of the people that are on my teams, we're kind of teaching the younger generations. And there were several kids there today with us. And the kids, I kind of let them do their own thing today. I let my son get out there, and with
Yeah.
the other two kids that were there, kids of some of us researchers, and they went out there and they actually were like making their own maps. They were naming places along some of the areas that we researched, and they were
Cool.
really getting into it. And so I kind of just let them be. I wasn't like, hey, get back here. I let them explore today. We kept an eye on them, but we let them explore.
Yeah.
And
Sure.
they're learning seriously from the best in the business out there. And I think
Yeah.
that's important for the research wherever it's headed. We're out here doing what we do. We're picking up these track lines, but just think when they're older, when our kids, your kids, my kids, when
Yeah.
they're a little bit older, imagine, hopefully there'll be more disclosure by then. What do you think?
Absolutely. I think there's going to be more awareness. I introducing this stuff to my kids. I have all teenagers, and it's one of those things where it's like, hey, look, let's do some critical thinking. Like here is what I present in evidence and
Mhm.
encounters and in people that have had sightings. Do you think this is real? Do you think this is a hoax? And the evidence is overwhelming. That the encounter is overwhelming
Mhm.
thousands of people, right? And when you look at it from that perspective, you got to go, there's something out there. Like, yeah, I mean, I may not know definitively exactly what, but there is something out there, and they know that. They know that, and they don't discredit. They don't sit there and go, "Oh, Dad, you're crazy. You're weird." None of them
Mhm.
ever said that. They go, "You've got a point. Like, this is interesting." Like, they even bring some of their friends into it and going, "Hey, do you believe in Bigfoot? My dad researches it." They're like, "What? What are you talking about?"
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
So, but I mean, but again, that's spreading the awareness. You think about things like this world is so huge. Our continent is so big. There's so many forests and things that we haven't even touched yet. That have animals or creatures or things that we even discovered. So I mean, I think if you equip them with at least the idea or the possibility and let them draw their own conclusions with their own research, I think you'll find they'll come back and you go, you know what? I'm leaning towards what you said, Dad or Mom. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I've been bringing up my son a lot on these shows lately because he's so I don't say he's radical in his thinking and stuff, but
yeah.
he's just such a forward thinker. And yeah, I mean, the last teacher parent conference that I had was right after he had just been my son. I allowed him to be interviewed on a radio show about
Okay.
his Bigfoot experience. Okay, because
Wow.
he has had a Bigfoot experience, and he's
Wow.
only 9. He's about to be 10.
Wow.
Okay, and so I was there with him, and I let him be interviewed by a friend,
Yeah.
and he's just. I was talking to his teacher at the conference. She was like, "Was there anything else?" Because he's actually doing great in school, by the way. Okay,
Good.
but she was like, "Was there anything else going on?" I was like, "Well, now that you asked, yes, Ben got interviewed on iHeartRadio about his Bigfoot encounter. If you guys ever do like a show and tell, or if you wants to talk about it, just so you're aware of it.
Sure.
We go out and we look for Bigfoot. And
Why
she
not?
she was kind of like, oh, okay, well, if he chooses to. And I was like, oh, okay, well, she's on, 'cause not everybody's on that
Sure.
frequency. You know what I mean? Of like
Not.
being
Yeah.
open to it, or she's probably like, oh, great, this is what's wrong with this kid. This is mom.
Yeah. No. Yeah. No.
No,
Yeah.
I'm kidding. He's
Yeah.
a great kid. I was just kidding. But
Yeah. Yeah.
it's not everybody's there yet. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Or
No.
will ever be there.
And
Some
that's
people will
okay.
never be there.
And that's
Yeah.
okay. That's fine because it takes all different kinds to make the world go round. It really does.
Yeah.
And I tend to now the one of the best things I could have ever done in my whole life was marry my wife, who is an artist and a free thinker and open to all these things. And I talk to other people that are like, yeah, I try to tell my wife about my experience, and she just thinks I'm crazy and dumb, and they roll their eyes every time I talk about it, and I'm like, wow, like my wife doesn't do that at all. She's like, well, when can we go out next? Like where's the next area we're gonna research? And I consider myself very blessed to have that, because not every man has that at all. So but with that, my whole point of telling you this is, with that, is that our children are free thinkers. They're open. I don't put them in a box. I don't do that. You can't do that to these kids, especially now in today's world. You can't do that. So, you know, you got to be open. You have to.
Yeah. Yeah, my kid's got the crazy Bigfoot mama. Okay.
Hey, man,
Crazy
that's
Bigfoot
cool.
mama.
That's
The lady
amazing.
that drops her kid off at school and picks him up with Bigfoots all over my truck. Bigfoot stickers and stuff. I
Hey,
know,
man,
right?
that's amazing.
It
That's
is.
amazing.
He has no idea how cool his mom is. Your kids have, our kids have no idea how cool we
No,
are. I'm just
they
saying.
don't. You
They
know,
just don't.
my son, we both discovered the first wood structure. I took him out with me, and he had no idea what kind of journey we were going to go on. And we found a wood structure on the same day we were looking for one, and it was
Okay.
just amazing. And so after that, getting into his latter, he's 19 now, and now he knows what I do, and he is open to it, and he doesn't say anything bad or weird. But he is a musician, and he's got a band, and they play quite often, and they write, record. They've got music on Spotify, iTunes, all that stuff. So he's more or less into his thing. But the whole thing is that he doesn't sit there and go like, Dad, you're that was when I was little, and that was stupid. I don't believe that anymore. He still believes, and that's what's really cool about it.
I know. Don't stop believing. Okay. Never
No,
stop believing. Yes.
no,
All right. We have some of the coolest people in our chat tonight. Okay. And I mean, just everybody. Well, we've even had DA Robertson here tonight too. What's up, DA? If you're still listening in here, we've got Drewski from Cryptid Warfare Podcast. We got
yeah.
Edie, Eric Testerman up in here. We've got all
I
sorts of folks, y'all.
I follow Drewski on Instagram, and I think he's on TikTok too. I follow him,
Oh,
and I
yeah.
really dig what he does. I really do.
Yes, he does a daily devotional, you guys.
Yeah,
Y'all,
I love
if you
it.
get a chance, y'all check that out. Drewski and and his team have been out to hunt skinwalkers in the past
Cool.
up in Tennessee,
Right
and
on.
we may be going back sometime,
Yeah, right on.
sometime in the future. So Drew says, to me, the more kids know, the better off they are. I'd rather have them know what could possibly be in those woods and have them be more vigilant than their head in the sand and they go missing. Oh,
Sure.
that's deep. That's
I
true.
think I think that's almost in line with putting on the armor of God, and and
Yes.
and, and equipping your children. You got to equip your children. And it's not just out here in the cities and urban areas, but also in the forested areas, right? And so,
Yeah.
to me, you're equipping your children in a sense. Not, I'm not going to say in a sense, well, in a sense for battle, but they need to be educated. They need to be educated.
They have to be educated. Just like I know with my kid too. Like he knows not to wander off too far.
Yeah,
And he's always equipped with some sort of a weapon.
yeah.
He is.
Hey,
Okay.
that's
I
fine.
know. I mean,
Hey,
but you
man.
teach your kids weapon safety though. Okay. Don't let your kids have
Absolutely. Yeah.
weapons unless they have the safety training. Okay. That I
Absolutely.
stand behind that.
Absolutely.
This is dangerous. Okay.
I'm with
So
you 100 on that.
yes, yeah. Drew says I teach all of my kids, and you got some beautiful kids, Drew. By the way, I teach all my kids about Bigfoot, Dogman. They know what to look for, and they know what's on in those woods. Thank you.
Beautiful.
That's yeah, me too. My son knows what's up, and all those kids. Okay, so the kids that are with us today, all of their parents are all cryptid researchers. They know what's in those woods. They know what to look out for,
Yeah.
and yeah, and it's pretty awesome. And and I don't even know what my son goes and says at school to his classmates and stuff. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't
No,
matter,
no,
because half
no.
the people aren't going to believe him anyway. So but he's
Well,
there to speak his mind and open minds to
I,
open
I
other people's
I
minds.
would I would say that he's probably a young man that will defend his mom in your absence, and that's what it sounds like to me. So that's a
Yeah,
good thing.
he will.
Absolutely.
He's got my back. I got his.
He sounds like a
What else
good
do you want
boy.
for? Yes,
Yeah.
he is. He is. Well, it's a beautiful thing having families that have the same interests. We like to go
Yes.
out and do fun stuff like this, but
Yeah.
we also have to be careful. Like just like Drew said, you got to be aware of the dogman and the Bigfoot. And I know cryptid warfare guys. They take extra precaution
Yeah.
when it comes to protecting themselves. So,
Man.
yeah, and hero, that's right. Even sticks can make good weapons. That's right. Even sticks. Boom, boom
Yeah.
sticks in my instance, but whatever. Um, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Rod, this has been awesome. Gosh, what a great
Yeah.
conversation tonight.
Amazing.
It's
I
been
love
great.
it. Yeah.
Yeah,
And the
you got to
the
come
first
back and
time I
hang
was
out
on
with.
with yeah, the
Yeah,
first time I was on with you, I really enjoyed it and I loved your spirit. And I'm just blessed to be, here with you and to call you a friend. So that's
thank
cool.
you.
Yeah.
Same here, man. Same
Yeah.
here. Same here. And I knew we're gonna have a good night tonight. It's gonna be fun,
Yeah.
and that's why I really like. I mean, yes, I slide in straight from one thing to the next. Yes, I came straight in from a long ride home, and it was pouring down rain, and I had my keys locked in my car. But hey, everything worked out perfectly.
Worked out, man.
And that's why I told you right before we went live. I was like, let's just have fun, okay?
Yeah.
Let's just have
Let's
fun
yeah.
tonight.
That's what it's all about. It's what it's all
Yes.
about.
It is. It is. Well, okay. So what do you have coming up? Are you still out in the woods? I mean, I know you just
So
told us about your event coming up, but
So,
are you still researching?
Symposium of the Strange is what I'm really pushing because it is kind of I'm not going to say it's the first of its kind, but it's something that's very new that I haven't seen really been done. A monthly symposium.
Yeah.
That's something people don't do. You've got your conventions that are 2 3 days. This is condensed into 2 hours. So if you're somebody that can't commit to 2 days, hey, you can come in for 2 hours for $10 for adults, and I think it's $5 for children. We have an Eventbrite link, so you could buy advanced tickets. So, and we're planning on doing this monthly, and we're really pushing it. So that's one thing. The other thing is, Craig Woolheater, he's a really cool guy, man, and he's become a friend as well. And he's invited us to the Texas Bigfoot conference in Jefferson as well. So plan on seeing me as a vendor at the Texas Bigfoot conference, which I think one of the longest running Bigfoot conferences in the United States. So those are things that I've got coming up. In the summer, because of where I live in the extreme heat and how bad it is, the activity kind of slows down in my areas, rightfully so. I
Okay.
think if you're an 8 foot
Yeah.
biped covered in hair, you may not be out there as much, doing your thing because it's so hot. So I kind of slow down with the boots on the ground during the summer because it is draining. It is terrible.
It's hot.
And
Yeah.
I keep it kind of sparse during the summer, and then fall, winter, spring is when I start back up again. So you won't see much boots on the ground in the summer, but that's okay. Fall, winter, and spring is when we're going to start back up. So that's kind of where I take it, and I try to tell my people inform them about that as well. So
Yeah.
we'll see. Oh, wait, one more thing. I was planning on hopefully trying to get out to Palmetto State Park, where they have had several encounters with some creature out there, which is kind of outside of San Antonio, about 30 40 minutes outside of San Antonio as well. So I'm hoping, God willing, I can get out there real soon with another person that is interested in researching as well. So there you go.
Oh. Oh my gosh. So you stay busy. Now, can people contact you if they have sightings? Do you go
Yes,
out and do actual investigations?
I will. And so the last time, so when I told you we had gotten a vocalization projected at me and my wife, uh, that was us going out investigating a person that had discreetly messaged me on Instagram and said, "Hey, my daughter was out at this park on the paved trail with her two full-grown huskies, and something behind thick brush just growled and screamed at them, and the dogs got super scared. My daughter was just didn't want to be in that area, ran off. Can you go and investigate?" And that was when we went out there to that area, and that's when we got kind of that growl or that vocalization at us. So, yes, I will go out and investigate. And the one thing I would like to do is either have a conversation on chat if you're comfortable, the best thing to do is on phone. If I can talk to you on the phone, that would be even cooler. So I would love to go out and investigate if you are willing to let me know the area and where I need to go.
Love that. Okay, you guys contact Rod, Bear County, Bexar, right?
B
Bexar.
Bexar. Like
Wait,
it looks like it would say Bexar.
Bexar. Yeah.
Right. People get that confused. It's Bear. It's people here pronounce it Bear County. If you talk to Josh Turner, he's gonna say Behar, and he's done a little bit more research than I have of my own city. So, but we call it Bear. We call it Bear County. Bexar.
Oh my gosh. Well, we pronounce it bear here at the Cryptid Huntress
Yes.
channel. Yes, we know how to
See,
pronounce words and stuff over here.
I love
So
Bear.
that's
I love
great.
Bear. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Bear County Bigfoot on Facebook, YouTube. You guys contact Rod. And
Please.
I want to go back to this. This is really interesting because I just thought Max Live. I'm serious. You better contact me, right? I have a buddy when we were deployed overseas. It was in the platoon that shot 1,000 rounds into the retrieved red-beard giant, the giant of
What?
Kandahar.
Whoa,
Yes,
Kandahar giant.
the
Wow.
giant of Kandahar. Yes, we're going to
The red-haired
yeah,
giant.
I want to talk to this person. Okay. Yes, I've covered that. Okay, about the giants and the military taking bodies. I had
That's
remote
amazing.
viewed that, and I was picking it up as though the remote viewing data said that they were picking up that giant for a sample of like DNA samples for cloning purposes.
Whoa.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Right
It's so
on.
much. It's a whole other rabbit hole to go down. And
Yeah.
yeah, so we're gonna leave this one here tonight, man. Okay.
Yeah.
So Bear County Bigfoot. Thank you so much, Rod, for being
Thank
here.
you.
You're the best. Okay.
It was my pleasure, and much love and respect to you, Jessica.
Thank you. You too. You too. Okay, y'all. Well, please come back tomorrow night on Spaced Out Radio. I'm going to have George Lunsford on my show. Actually, he is a Bigfoot field researcher. We have a lot to talk about tomorrow. So come see me at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 Central over here. Not on this channel, but on the Spaced Out Radio YouTube channel. Okay. And yeah, and please go subscribe to Bear County Bigfoot
Please
on
do.
YouTube and
All
on
platforms.
Facebook.
TikTok,
Yes.
Instagram, Facebook. Come see me.
Okay. Awesome. Okay. Well, you guys have a great night. Thank you all so much for being here. I'm going to go sleep in a warm, soft bed tonight. I'm not out in the field. And shout out to all my teammates who are, a lot of them may be in the rain right now in their tents and stuff. So everybody stay safe out there. Rod, have a great night. Please come back and
Yep.
see me. And I'll see y'all tomorrow.
Rest in peace,
Y'all,
Grumpy.
yes, rest in peace, Grumpy. You guys go over to After Hours and hang out with Rob G now. Okay. And I'll see y'all later. See you, Rod. Bye,
Yes,
y'all.
ma'am. Take care. Bye-bye.